Welcome to Kung Fu Havoc number 2. It is in 3 minutes officially February the 6th, so I am 6 days behind in Black History Month. So what we're going to do is I'm going to count on you to at least sit down, pay attention, possibly do some research. I'm going to name out 6 black superheroes from Marvel. I'm not really big on DC, so I only know the black superheroes in Marvel a little better than I know DC. So I'm going to try to make this a little bit of fun. So as you all know, we have our grand marquee, the king of superheroes for the black community, Black Panther, aka T'Challa. So because of all the controversy that's going on with T'Challa, we'll start with T'Challa. And shout out to my boy Theo B. Keep up the good fight, brother. So T'Challa came out in the 60s. He technically you won't really say he's a hero, but you won't really say he's a bad guy because his first appearance, I believe he fought heroes. I can't remember who they were because I'm not a super fan of Black Panther. However, I do know that at one point, at one time, he was an Avenger. Not the West Coast Avengers, but the East Coast Avengers. And why am I doing the Avengers? Because it's going to be easier to go to the next 2 superheroes that were also in the Avengers. Okay, so T'Challa being from Wakanda and being that he is the king of Wakanda, he played 2 roles. One as a diplomat and one as a superhero. As a diplomat, he wanted to make sure that everybody didn't mess with Wakanda. As a superhero, he protected everybody, and especially that of Wakanda. Now that's all I can really give you because, like I said, I am not a super fan. I do know a little bit a little bit about the Black Panther. Not as much as my bro Theo B. Shout out to Theo B for the second time. But I know enough of him that he is a badass, and you really don't want to mess with T'Challa in or out of the Black Panther suit. That being said, let's move on to the next 2 Avengers that are black. Technically, there are 3 black Avengers that I know, but we are going to get to them. The first, after we stop this alarm clock, the first black Avenger that I know we already talked about, which was T'Challa, but we're going to move on to the next 3 black Avengers. The second black Avenger that I know would be Falcon. Falcon Sam Wilson. You know they had a TV show. I didn't watch it, so you guys go watch it. Let me know what's going on. I don't have Disney Plus. I do have PlayStation Now. I haven't had time to be on my PlayStation because my back's been hurting so bad that I haven't even looked at a video game. But that being said, Sam Wilson, also in the military and also some other things, and he was known as the Falcon, and then later he would become the Captain America, but there was a black Captain America, but I do not remember his name. Somebody else will have to do the research on that. I had it written down, but I kind of lost everything. As you see, my room is a jumbled fucking mess. Anyway, we're not going to talk about the Black Captain America until I do research on that, hopefully before the end of the month. And if I haven't forgotten about this video, then we will talk about him. But Falcon was the second Avenger that I personally knew. I didn't read a lot of his books, but I did like Falcon, and he didn't have a robotic bird. He had an actual falcon, which name slips me right now, but the falcon that he had was telepathically linked to him. He could actually communicate with his falcon. You could say that he may have some delayed mutant abilities, but as far as it goes, I think he can communicate with that falcon and possibly other birds. I don't want to lie to you. That's why I said possibly other birds. Somebody who's a Falcon fan, please come and correct that. Put it in the comments because I know I'm not 1,000% right. And everything that I'm telling you right now was retconned in 2008 and then retconned again in 2010. So my knowledge is pre-retcon. Okay? That's when Marvel retconned everything like after Onslaught, and then they retconned it again and destroyed my favorite comics, the X-Men and the Guardians of the Galaxy. So, I kind of put those books down and never picked them back up again. I still kept up with Marvel because I love Marvel. If it were not for Marvel, I wouldn't know how to read. But when you destroy something that people really love, or you change the story to something that doesn't really bend in my benefit, I just chose to stop reading it. All right, so now we're gonna go to James Rhodes, aka War Machine. Now, James Rhodes is one of Tony Stark's best friends, and he actually was Iron Man for quite some time, but people did not know that he was Iron Man because of the simple fact that they never saw him take the damn suit off. In fact, the only 2 people who knew he was Iron Man for quite some time in a couple of books was actually Pepper and Tony themselves. Now, I don't know shit about Happy. I don't know where the hell he comes in. But for the comic books, the only 2 people who really knew that Rhodes was Iron Man was Tony Stark. And I think this happened during his alcoholic phase or his womanizer phase or both. But Iron Man, Rhodes was Iron Man for the better part of maybe 2 years in the comics. And I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But for the 2 years that I was reading, when I was getting it sent to my house literally on a weekly basis, Iron Man, the only reason why I was reading it was because James Rhodes was the fucking Iron Man. He also had a relationship with Pepper at one time in the comic book. Again, I'm sure all that shit's been retconned. But why did I pick James Rhodes? Because if I had to have any love of Iron Man, I loved Iron Man Tony Stark, but I loved Iron Man James Rhodes better. In fact, he was so popular, that's why he got the name War Machine. Because Tony decided, yeah, we're going to keep you in this thing because you're doing a pretty good damn job. So, i.e., there's War Machine. And then you have the fact that Tony and his band of Avengers moved to the West Coast, and Tony led that, while Cap led the East Coast Avengers, and every now and again they'd swap out. And then when Cap quit, John Walker led the East Coast Avengers for a little bit, and then he would leave and later become part of the Thunderbolts. I never read that comic. I have picked up a few of John Walker's miniseries, and I don't like what they've done with John Walker, so that kind of fucked up everything. And again, thank God for retconning, because they retconned all that shit that I just said. And finally, let's see, I did Falcon, I did Black Panther, I did War Machine. So the only other Black Avenger that I am aware of is Rage. Now, I do not remember Rage's name. I think it was Tyrone, but I'm not going to swear to it. But Rage was a 13-year-old kid. He's also black. He was involved in an accident, kind of like Daredevil, but Rage became huge. You know, he was like super fucking huge, and he was super strong, which whatever caused his mutation gave him superhuman strength. I can't remember if it disfigured him, because I don't want to get him mistaken with Maul from Wildcats, but Rage was like Maul. It was like super big. And the only reason why Rage was no longer an Avenger in the 90s was because Hercules kicked his ass and kicked him out because he lent the Quinjet to the New Warriors. And then you would start seeing Rage in the pages of New Warriors. While we're on New Warriors, let's go to my favorite black superhero. I'm sorry, he doesn't exist anymore that I know of, unless they retconned it, and I was mad as hell when they killed him off, which is why I stopped reading the New Warriors. But the best Night Thrasher was always Dwayne Taylor. I don't care what anybody says. I don't like the brother who took his place. I don't like when Midnight Fire took his place. This is why I stopped reading the comic, because they killed off Dwayne Taylor. And Dwayne Taylor adopted Rage as his charge, like Bruce Wayne had Dick Grayson. Dwayne Taylor had Rage. So that took care of all that stuff, and that took care of all the legalities and all that shit, and it stopped the problem of the Avengers having a problem. The only thing that the Avengers did was they took back the Avenger card that all the Avengers have, so that they have like limited funds to buy shit, so, or unlimited funds to buy shit, because you know Tony comes from old money, and Tony's not richer than Charles Xavier, I don't think, but at that same time they're running in a smooth billionaire, trillionaire kind of thing, but that's regardless because they're not black. But anyway, Rage was taken in by Dwayne Taylor. Dwayne Taylor led the Taylor Foundation by day and was crashing up people in the streets by night. He even kicked the Punisher's ass. He even kicked Bingle's ass. He kicked Prism's ass. He kicked a lot of people's ass. But that being said, I just gave you 6 black superheroes for the 6 days behind that I am in Black History Month. Let's run it down. We got James Rhodes, Dwayne Taylor, Rage, Falcon, Black Panther, and there was a black Captain America that I left off because I couldn't get it straight. I'm pretty sure I named somebody else. But that being said, those are some of Marvel's 5 black superheroes that you probably guys can go and read. And now there are more black superheroes, and you guys should probably go check them out. I'm pretty sure that Nighthawk, I think that's his name, he has a blue suit. I haven't read him in a while. I'm pretty sure he's black, and I think he's black because his name is Tyrone, and I don't know any white Tyrones in my real life, but if you're a white man and your name is Tyrone, I'd like to meet you. But for Black History Month, those are some of your black superheroes that you should go check out. And finally, because that Spider-Man suit's talking to me, I'm going to say the only one true black Spider-Man. No, it's not Miles Morales. Miles Morales is mixed like me. Miles Morales is Latinx and black, where Miguel O'Hara is Mexican and Irish, and Hobart Brown. Hobart Brown is all black, and he lives in England and he plays the guitar, and his name is Spider Punk. Please go check him out. It's a really good guy to do your research on. So, if you want to have a black Spider-Man and you're all mad that it's Miles Morales, why don't you check out Spider Punk? Spider Punk is all black. He's not mixed. He is completely black. And I believe he lives in England, unless that's been retconned. So, please go check out the Spider-Man. But remember, Miles is not actually the first biracial Spider-Man. The first biracial Spider-Man is Miguel O'Hara. He came out first. Thank you guys for watching. I hope I gave you some food for thought. And that being said, this is Echo Fan Grey Wolf. This is Kung Fu Epic number 2. Be seeing